Welcome to Scone Bake and Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I enjoy making scones, muffin cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. Today, I'm going to share with you my recipe for lemon ginger scones. Lemon's bright flavor and ginger's spicy heat complement each other so well. I think these scones are going to become one of your favorites. So, let's bake. When making scones, the first thing I want to do is grate my butter. So I have here 6 tablespoons of cold butter, and I'm going to grate it. Okay, now that our butter is all grated, I'm going to put it up in the freezer. I want to keep this butter as cold as I can for as long as I can, because before the butter melts in the scones, it's going to create steam, and that steam is going to create these wonderful layers in your scones. Now that our butter's in the freezer, we're going to get started with the dry ingredients. In my bowl here, I have 2 cups of unbleached flour. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of whole wheat pastry flour, 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. And now for the spices, I have 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/8 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. These spices add a nice, wonderful warmth flavor to these scones. Because these are lemon scones, I'm going to add zest from 1 lemon, and I'm just going to zest it right into the bowl. So now for the ginger flavor, right now I'm chopping up some crystallized ginger, and this is what it looks like. And for me, I can find it in the produce department where you can find raisins and nuts and things, and that is where I find this crystallized ginger. So I'm chopping up about 30 grams or about 1/4 cup. So I'm chopping up the ginger pretty fine, but we don't want it really tiny. Okay, it's nice and chopped up. We're going to put this into our bowl with our dry ingredients. And now we're going to whisk all this together. Now it's time to add our frozen butter. So plop that right in there. And because this butter is pretty much the size I want it, all I need to do is stir it in with the dry ingredients and just get it mixed up and make sure all the butter is covered with some flour mixture. Now it's time to get our wet ingredients together. I have here 3/4 cups of buttermilk, and to that I'm going to add 1/3 cup of lemon yogurt. This is going to add a little more lemon flavor to these scones. And to add more lemon flavor, I have 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. We're going to whisk this together. So now it's time to add our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. We're just going to stir this together until it's just combined. Okay, our dough is starting to come together. I don't want to overmix this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little flour on my board here, and a little flour on my hands, and a little flour in there. And then we're going to get everything off the spatula here. I'm just going to bring this together. What I do is I mix it a few times in the bowl because there's still some dry bits on the bottom. So I just want to kind of mix it up with my hand in the bowl and try to pick up some of the dry bits down here. And you'll leave some dry bits in there, and that's okay. So we're going to take our dough here, we're going to put on our board here. Now we're going to take a technique from making croissants, and what we're going to do is I'm going to just kind of square this up a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to roll it out into a 12-inch by 12-inch square. There, let's see how we're doing here. 12 inches, yeah, by 12 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold it into thirds, and it doesn't have to be exactly, and it can be kind of sloppy. It doesn't have to be exactly thirds, and it doesn't have to be exactly a square at this point. And then I'm going to fold it back, and then I'm going to fold it the other direction. And now I'm going to fold it this way so we have kind of like this square little package. I have a little board here. I'm going to put a little flour on it. There we go. and put my dough on that board. I've been handling this dough. The butter's starting to come up to room temperature, and I want to keep it as cold as I can for as long as I can. So I'm going to put this up in the freezer for 5 minutes. So for the topping, we're going to add a little more ginger flavor. So I have here 2 pieces of the crystallized ginger, and I'm going to chop this up. And then while I get it chopped up, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of turbinado sugar. And what this will do will help kind of keep this from sticking to the knife too badly, and it'll help me chop this up even finer. So I'm just going to dump that in there and just chop that up along with the crystallized ginger. Okay, that's chopped up really fine, and this turbinado sugar will just add a little crunch to the top of our scones. So my dough is nicely chilled, and I'm going to cut it into 3 even pieces, and I have my scraper here, and it has inches measurements on it, and I'm going to divide it up into 3 pieces using my scraper here. And now I'm going to take 1 piece here, and I'm just going to pat it into a 4-inch in diameter circle. So just kind of pat it down, and we'll make it 4 inches in diameter. And I'll get out my scraper, and we'll just see, yep, that looks like 4 inches. We're good. And I'm just going to straighten it up a little bit, make it nice and even, make it nice and pretty there. And so now we're going to cut it into 4 wedges. I have here a baking sheet, and I lined my baking sheet with parchment paper. And so now we're going to take the 4 wedges and put them on the baking sheet. And we'll do that with all of the other 2 pieces of scone. Now we're going to put an egg wash on each scone, and that will give each scone that nice golden brown top. Now, just to add a little bit more ginger flavor, we're going to take that crystallized ginger and turbinado sugar that we chopped up earlier really fine. We're going to sprinkle that on each scone. I preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and we're going to bake these scones for 15 to 18 minutes. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. They smell so good. Now, I don't want the bottoms of these scones to cook any more than they have, so what I like to do is just take them right off with the parchment paper, right off that baking sheet. I'm going to let these cool down for 10 minutes, but oh my goodness, they smell so good. That lemon comes through and the ginger. I can't wait. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Our scones have cooled down, and they do smell wonderful. But I'm going to add just a little bit more lemon flavor to them. I'm going to make a lemon glaze. So I have here 1/2 cup or 46 grams of powdered sugar, and I'm going to put it through a sieve because I want to make sure it's sifted. So we'll put that through the sieve. There we go. And I have 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. We're going to whisk this together. Okay, it's nice and whisked together, and what we want it to do is just run off the whisk here. There we go. So now, put the whisk aside here. Stay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drizzle about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon onto the tops of each one of these, and it's okay if it kind of drizzle downs a little bit, and it is so good. So we'll just put a little bit on top, just like that, and watch it just kind of drizzle around. There we go. And we're going to do this to all of them. This lemon drizzle is so good. It just adds another lemon dimension to these scones. And there's that last one. These are going to be so delicious. Usually I let these cool down completely, but I think it's time to try one. Just make sure they're okay. I'm going to take this one right here, and we're going to take a bite. Oh, those are so delicious. The ginger has this wonderful warm flavor with all those other spices, and then the lemon comes through with just this little bright flavor. You know, lemon and ginger just really complement each other. These are so good. For the complete recipe, please go to my website, sconebaking.com, and there is a link below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. and please subscribe for future videos. I hope this recipe inspires you to bake. Thank you for watching.